Hello and welcome to the Legacy Crusaders YouTube channel. This is Benji, and today we are learning how to play Phantom Knights. If you're not familiar with this series, someone brings their own deck list who knows how to play the deck, tells me how to play the deck over a few games on YGOPRO. We're going to show you the deck list and play a few matches. Today I have Sunindo. If you guys have seen Sir Eminon's recent Discord tournament, where he posts the top 8 matches and some of the early round matches, you managed to finish in top 8 with a Karakuri deck, right?
Yeah, Karakuri Turbo VFD Fun Time.
Speaking of, I just posted the super awesome ultimate crazy Karakuri combo video. A link will be in the description. But you play many other decks, and I asked you if you'd be willing to help me with a video, and you said Phantom Knights was one of your decks, so I'm just going to put this on screen. Alright, so we're just going to go through the deck real quick. If you want to look up the cards yourself or acquire them, you can. I have a TCGPlayer affiliate link in the description down below. If something stands out as odd, I'm going to be asking Sunindo about it, and I will try and act as the audience and do that for pretty much at all points in the video. Every play that we decide to make, I will be asking questions, unless of course it's really obvious. For the quick card by card, we got 3 copies of Torn Scales, 3 copies of Silent Boots, 2 copies of Ancient Cloak, 1 copy of Stained Greaves, 1 copy of Ragged Gloves, and a reinforcement of the army that can search any of those, or one of the 3 copies of Kagemusha Knight. We also have a tour guide from the Underworld, 3 of those, 1 Graph, Mel Branch of the Burning Abyss, 2 copies of Seer, 1 Danger Jackalope, 1 Danger Tsuchinoko. I mentioned the 3 Kagemusha Knights already. We have another extender in a Psychic Wielder, a hand trap lineup of triple Ghost Spell and Haunted Mansion, 3 Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring, and I guess it's going second sort of hand trap kind of thing, Forbidden Droplet. And the other Phantom Knight cards, we have the Phantom Knight's Wing, which is a extender generally, 3 copies of Fogblade, a Shade Brigandine, which is also an extender, a Red Eyes Fusion, and the Ultimate Wizard in terms of attack and defense, as well as a Ferocious Dragon with a deadly attack. To summon in our extra deck, Red Eyes Dark Dragoon. We also have a Dark Requiem Xyz Dragon, 1 copy of Arc Rebellion Xyz Dragon, 1 Dark Rebellion Xyz Dragon, 1 Raider's Knight, 2 Phantom Knights of Breaksword, 1 Levier the Sea Dragon, 1 Appaloosa Bow of the Goddess, 1 Nightmare Unicorn, 1 Phantom Knights of Rusty Bardiche, 1 Cherubini Ebon Angel of the Burning Abyss, 1 Predaclan Verte Anaconda, 1 Lake Spider, and a Salaman Great Almirage. And we're siding triple Lancia, triple Ally of Justice Cycle Reader, triple Droll and Lockbird, 1 Feather Duster, 2 Twin Twister, and triple Evenly Matched. Alright, so Nindo, are there any cards that you think are different in this list that stand out and might be worth mentioning before I point out a few that I have questions about?
So I guess most builds tend to not run the Shade Brigandine as an extender. Some builds tend to cut it out. I like running it as it comes in handy a lot, and it's a very good backup play when most of your stuff gets interrupted. You can at least always end on a Verte Anaconda in the worst case scenarios.
Well, I guess it combos well with the Link Spider, which I think is also here for Nibiru tokens.
Yep, Link Spider, Nibiru tokens, and Shade Brigandines. I think that's probably what stands out the most to me.
Okay, to me, I was going to ask about Stained Greaves. I think this wasn't being played that often until recently. I think someone got like first place in a remote duel extravaganza block, and they played it, but I haven't seen it consistently. Thoughts on this card?
Oh, I personally love Stained Greaves. So this card is kind of fantastic. It's not as good as Silent Boots, but it essentially provides the same job of it special summons itself out onto the field if another Phantom Knight is special summoned. So if you have Boots already in hand, you can add in him instead. And he's also not bad to open because of his Grave effect is also really useful for extension. You can banish himself to normal summon another Phantom Knight from your hand. And other Phantom Knights like Torn Scale, Ancient Cloak, Gloves, if you have them in your hand and you didn't normal summon them, they're kind of stuck in your hand outside of Torn Scale dumping them. Stained Greaves, he extends, you send him to the grave, you banish him, he extends again. He's definitely a one-of, but he's a fantastic one-of.
Okay, so pretty much he comes up whenever you have no real reason to search a Silent Boots because you had to start with Silent Boots, I think, right?
Yeah. If you already have Silent Boots in rotation, Stained Greaves is...
Okay, I think that's it for my questions, really. Mostly everything here seems normal. I know the Phantom Knights rank-up stuff wasn't explored at the beginning. I think a lot of people were still trying to do Verte Anaconda, Appaloosa, Evil Swarm Nightmare, which I see didn't make this list.
I think it's a really great card, but since we decided to opt for the Dragoon package for a backup play and more consistency in case of interruption and the more powerful OTK side of it simplifies game states, we just didn't have the space for Nightmare.
Okay, so Nightmare
useful,
would normally be like an alternative for like the Requiem or the Dragoon, I guess?
Yeah, Nightmare is basically contesting itself with either Dark Requiem, which is 3 negates and multi-pops, or Dragoon, which is an Omni negate and FTK enabler, and just setting everything face down is great, but when in comparison, you're fighting an uphill battle.
Fair enough. I guess that's it. We'll get into some games and then see if we have any questions left at the end. All right, here we go. All right, waiting for our first match on EU Competitive. Can we play against something that isn't Berserk Guerrilla Control? If you saw the recent How to Drytron video that should go up before this one, you'll know that we had some bad luck in EU Competitive the other day. I played like a Salamangrate deck that just completely bricked, as well as a deck that looked like some sort of Goat Control Turbo, just summoned Berserk Guerrilla. I don't know why anything would do that, but it did.
I mean, we were talking about YGOPRO metagame.
Yeah,
I'm surprised it's not just all ancient gear.
Oh look, our hand is broken. Does it work?
It works. We have a normal level 3, and we have an extender.
Fantastic.
We're up against Sky Striker, though, so we're going to have to play through back row.
But would we want to Ash the field spell?
They don't have the Ray, so I think so, right?
Oh.
Oh. Well, they didn't find her anyway.
Oh, okay. Well, I apparently made a mistake. Oh, this is cool. He's playing
Yeah,
Striker Eldritch. Have you heard about this list?
No, this is the first time I've seen it.
It won like a remote duel extravaganza event, I think. One of the blocks.
Interesting.
Yeah, a guy, he has a YouTube channel. He's called Bean Soldier TV. I actually asked him to do the video for How to Striker Eldritch. So that might happen at some point. Alright, so lots of back row to play
we'll
through.
have to play through. Yep.
What is your suggestion?
It seems our only option, really, since if normal summoning the Ghost Girls would do nothing since we have no extenders, we're kind of left with just normal summoning boots and special summoning boots in order to make our way to either a Break Sword or a Cherubini for continued play.
Alright, I guess we give it a shot. And we'll probably just get Widow Anchored and then potentially just destroy it. But it can happen.
Potentially.
We have a Sanguine on the field. Break Sword?
We know they have... Yep, so if we open up the extra deck, we can see that we can either go for Cherubini, Break Sword, or Verte Anaconda. We know they have the... They took Shark Cannon.
Yeah, so we know for sure that one of our cards in the graveyard will be in danger, although fortunately 2 of them are the same.
We know they have Sanguine and they have a Banish. So we're kind of going off the assumption, do they have Conquistador to stop us? Yeah, I say we should go for Break Sword.
Alright, if you have a specific zone that makes the most sense to go into, just let me know. And
For this play, not really.
okay.
And then, let's see if they have a response. No response. Okay.
Alright, we have the option to push
We
for
don't have
damage, or we can make a play, and we can Ash Sanguine, or we can leave it alone, I guess. How do you want to proceed?
We don't have the ability to currently extend into an OTK, so I feel like pushing for damage is our best bet right now. Try and force them to show us what they've got. Yeah, go to battle phase attack, and then we can try to extend in the main phase 2 and pop some of their back row. Whatever they've left.
So the way this deck works is it tries to go plus off of Area 0 by sending Eldritch Traps to grave and still grabbing Striker cards. And apparently it's really good with multi-roll, because you can just flip the traps, you never worry about them being stuck on the field. Anything you don't need, you just send to the graveyard.
And hey, in an emergency, they can just get rid of the field spell and
Yeah, the Conquistador, their field spell to get Ray sometimes.
Yep. So I imagine if this card is sent.
They either opted not to...
Oh, back card effect.
It was a cost. Okay, well, he took 1,000.
Welcome to Yu-Gi-Oh!
Main phase 2, I guess.
And
Any
main phase
thoughts
2.
on what to do? We are negated.
Yeah, we're negated, so I'd say passing on setting wings as protection and just going for Break Sword Beatdown. Seems like the plan currently. This is not an uncommon situation I've been in before where we're playing Towers Turbo, except Towers is a Break Sword.
And very tiny.
Yeah, well, we normally like to have gloves underneath them, at least 3k.
And gloves is mandatory, so if you use it for a break sword, it has to activate. It actually also forces our monster to activate, so it starts a chain we don't really want to use necessarily. Interesting.
Yeah, it does. Oh, okay, that's interesting. So they really want to destroy it.
We could protect it.
Yeah, let's just protect it. This seems like a very desperate play. I'm not sure what they're thinking.
Maybe they think they can banish something in grave that would be worth banishing?
Possibly, if they did manage to banish one of our boots, the effect of Break Sword and Grave would fail for us. Yep,
Well,
that seems like a stop.
should we bell it? Because we can always add
Bell
something
seems
else.
like the least useful here, so yeah, use it now.
It's kind of cool that these cards have become kind of interchangeable nowadays.
I've started running the Ghost Girls because level 3 is very useful in Cherubini dot decks.
Got it.
And Bell coming into the metagame has been very useful.
I don't think we know what any of
So,
these are, except that one of them is a shark cannon.
one is a Shark Cannon, which really puts a damper on the Breaksword play, so we can't really use him proactively to start popping back row. We've drawn a bit of a dead card in Red Eyes and our Seer, because we haven't gone into any Burning Abyss plays, which means we don't have a Cherubini in the graveyard yet. Well, they've used Scarlet. We don't think they have anything else. We're probably assuming they have a Conquistador set, along with a Shark Cannon and whatever they've just drawn. We should probably just go to battle phase and continue to swing in.
Alright, take that. Breaksword beatdown. Now he's bigger.
The plan is coming together.
Yeah, I mean, it's like attacking with a Dark Magician at this point. 2500? Direct?
It's just putting the Red Eyes to shame currently.
4 Ferocious Dragon. I guess that's our turn.
Slightly underwhelming, but that's the way the hands work sometime.
Yeah, well now he's gonna get a blocker. He could have done that earlier. I guess there's no reason to rush it. So I guess our game plan is to just keep ashing Sanguines as he gets to them. Or I guess if we have to ash like a striker card, we can.
That's about the play. We've got them into a weird grind situation where Sky Striker Eldritch is on their top decks. And there's the 5th back row, but we know they've gotten nothing so far, so... Oh! Now we've got something.
I really want to force out this trap card so that he won't be able to activate the what's it called, Shark Cannon, but I don't know if we can make that happen.
We could try to make it happen, so if we use Breaksword, we send 2 boots to the grave. He'll have to either Shark Cannon... He'll have to Shark Cannon one of the boots. We have that. I would say, yes, we could try to push for lethal if we get through the back row.
Alright, let's go.
So we can activate. Detach a boots, target our Breaksword, and which do we want to hit?
But
Yeah, so we're kind of trying to hit something useful. We know 2 of the cards have been on the field this entire time, so one of those 2 is Shark Cannon, and then he's recently set 2 more cards. The newest one was the one in the middle and the one in the AMZ zone closest to Breaksword.
Alright, so these 2. Alright, let's go for one of those.
Roll the dice. Let's see how we do. Of course, we could have just continued with Breaksword beatdown, but at what point does that stop being funny? Oh, wait. Yeah, there's the Shark Cannon. It's going for... So we can chain wings to bring back the boots.
But should we?
I think we should, because that lets us have material for our Torn Scale. It's definitely worth it. And it also will annoy him to no end. You banish my card? No. He come back. And there's an IDP. Okay, that is really interesting. So we are really going through a lot of their back row, so we can definitely push for lethal if the rest of it is just nothing.
That
Widow
seems
Anchor.
silly.
Okay, why?
To turn off all his stuff, obviously.
Yeah, I guess.
It also keeps all of our
So
stuff from getting banished, I think, because he has to resolve the effects backwards. Oh no, he did it anyway. Okay, that he just wasted 2 cards for the price of 1.
Okay,
Alright.
so this is game. Normal summon Torn Scale. Let's go.
Alright, Torn Scales. What are we throwing away?
Let's throw away the dragon. We don't need him.
Go away, you vanilla monster. I mean, this could be useful. Ooh.
Oh, solemn. Okay, well, it's time to use the graveyard effects. Activate boots and bring back Torn Scale.
Alright, the only reason I question this play is, we know he has Conquistador, so he can't get to Sanguine. We can't activate
He could...
Scale again. We could just wait till next turn, then we can trigger him and bring him back and still use his effect.
Let me think. So we banish boots, then we get to add back... then we can either add Shade Brigandine or Fog Blade. It'll bring back the tier scale. Then we can go off into... And we just dump that. Waiting could be a possible idea, yeah.
Would it be possible to get to... a Unicorn wouldn't be game. Because I feel like we can Cherubini route into something bigger. Unfortunately, I don't think anything's big enough.
Unfortunately, Shade Brigandine is level 4. I think you are right, we should probably hold for now.
I mean, if you really
We'll
want
probably
to, we have
use
the option
Conquistador
to
make Blink
special... We can special Sear an attack.
It's not worth it because we won't be able to get over the Conquistador, and he'll... If he has the right idea in mind, he will just pop the Conquistador now. Or not.
Well, he might need to keep his options open for spells. All right, and we have a rage quit.
Don't even need to make the PK place.
All right, I guess
They
we'll see what
acknowledge
we do
defeat.
in our next match. All right, we are waiting for game 2. Our striker Eldritch opponent, for whatever reason, decided they didn't want to continue to play. We're up against Waza Biceps. I guess we're going first.
Oh, we go first, definitely. This deck loves to perform its combos.
Alright, it does have that going second engine, so I don't feel like it's a definitive, for sure thing. So just in case, I wanted to ask. Alright.
Okay, so our normal summon option is either Tour Guide or Torn Scale. Tour Guide is pretty weak to a possible Ash Blossom. Torn Scale is a little stronger, and we do have the Cloak for follow-up. So I'd say Torn Scale is our better option here.
Yeah, my friends call Tour Guide the Magnet. The Hand Trap Magnet.
And Surrender. Perfect.
Oh man, so did everyone learn that amazing one-card FTK?
Everyone knows now.
Oh man, broken. Alright, let's try to find another match.
Quality content.
I mean, it happens, you know? I mean, I can cut that game. In case I cut the previous game, you guys all just missed a normal summon Torn Scales rage quit. So, it might not have made the video. Alright, up against X-Frau. Going first again.
Oh, has added in the... Yep, first again. And we open up the Torn Scale and Rhoda. So that's interesting.
What's the play
Okay,
line?
so let's use Rhoda first. We definitely want to just find some more useful stuff and see if they have any reaction. Okay, it doesn't look like they have any Ash Blossom. So let's add a Cloak to our hand.
Alright, so that helps us punish or insulate ourselves from hand traps, right?
Mm-hmm. And then we normal summon Torn Scale, and we'll activate his effect, pitching the Cloak. And we will send off Phantom Knight Wings.
Okay.
And then we use Cloak in the graveyard. And we can add a Boots to our hand.
So 2 level 3s is essentially full combo, right?
Yep, any 2 level 3s that get you to Cherubini does the magic.
Okay.
And then from here we'll make Cherubini.
The side
It
preference,
is amazing
does it
in...
matter?
Neither side matters, it's more which monsters in case of you may... either EM Zone right now.
Okay.
But whenever we have such stuff like Tour Guide, Kagemusha Knight, it's nice to always leave something in either side or the side zones, so Cherubini on summon is instantly pointing to something for protection.
Ah, okay.
So let's activate Cherubini, and we'll send off one of the BAs. So yep, there it is. We're looking to send off Graph.
I think some people play Libic, and I think Sir Eminon's video more recently had him playing, what's it called? Edge of Sabers, potentially, to put back this brick. That might be something to consider for anyone who hadn't considered that.
Definitely something to consider, the Edge of Sabers. Yep, picks Seer to the zone Cherubini wants to. But personally, I don't like Libic, as it seems like the worst BA, and with both Seer and Graph at 3 now, just run an extra Seer.
Yeah, I can get
There's
on
no
board with
reason
the
to run a
second
card
Seer.
that's dead.
Yeah, second Seer over
And
Libic
Seer
makes sense.
And Seer just has so much more potential in the grind game where you can bring back a Cherubini a second time. So now we just make a Rusty Bardiche.
There's like another universe
And
where
this will
we
trigger.
make this play into Appaloosa in advance, right?
There is a possibility.
Alright.
You can also go through that method. And then Rusty Bardiche effect, we can send off more Phantom Knights and get some Fog Blades set.
Okay.
So let's send Gloves. We already have and set a Fog Blade. Probably in the other EMZ zone.
Okay.
Now we've got all 3 Phantom Knights in the graveyard, we can just move off from here. So I would say we can banish the Gloves to send a Fog Blade to the grave, which will activate Torn Scale in the grave to summon himself. Any zone matters. Yep. And then we can activate Wings in Grave to bring back the Boots. Now overlay for Levair. We can activate Levair. We detach the boots. And we'll bring back the cloak. And place him in attack position. Now we can activate cloak and target our Bardiche. Gain a bit of an advantage.
Alright, so you can do this on any monster, or is it any dark monster?
Any dark monster. It gives them an 800 point boost to attack and defense.
Till the end of our opponent's turn, right? So we might as well use it if we can.
Mm-hmm. It's always good for advantage.
Alright.
At this point, let's see. We have a Fog Blade in our grave along with a Boots. We have these free monsters. If we had another extender, we could have maybe possibly gone into Appaloosa. Unfortunately, we did draw the Garnet of the Red Ice Fusion, and we have the Search spell on Frave, so I think we should... Yeah, if we banish the Silent Boots, we can add the Shade Brigadine to our hand, then we can link off the Cherubini, the Levair, and the Brigadine off for an Appaloosa, and then we can resurrect the Torn Scale before Fogblade to overlay onto our Cloak on field to make the play. So yeah, I think that's the best option. Let's banish Silent Boots.
Okay, keep in mind we can't Shade Brigandine while there's a Fogblade in the graveyard.
Oh, yes.
I think I see a play line. We can
resurrect... use the Levair to make...
Oh no, we can't resurrect. Oh, we can just make Appaloosa with what we have? Oh no. Hold on. A lot of the playlines involve the Fogblade. So, I don't know.
Yes.
What do you think? Levier
or... let's see. We could just turn the... I think we have to just... Yeah, let's just resurrect the Boots with Fogblade and go off into a... the Requiem.
Our opponent's getting slightly annoyed.
YGOPRO.
Alright.
Love us.
I'm sorry, Breaksword?
Yeah, let's go Breaksword.
Destroy it?
Yep.
Alright. Bring them both back.
It is a very odd hand to have both the Rank Up Magic and the Red Ice Fusion in the same location.
So, Rebellion.
Yep, Rebellion and probably not underneath.
Too late. Oh, I can rank up the art elsewhere.
Yeah.
So set this or activate it?
We just set it for now.
And that's
we activate it on the
right?
opponent's turn and it gets free advantage. Yeah, that's our turn. Would have been nice to have had an easy extender or some more obvious decision making, or not to have drawn the Red Ice Fusion. Yep, that's what I was worrying about. Is this Mech Knights?
Well,
Nope.
that doesn't necessarily mean anything. I mean, it could be. I appreciate our opponent not just actually leaving, because there was a possibility of that. Alright, we could rank up. He'll chain, then we can Fogblade him. Then we can destroy him, or we can destroy the back row.
Yep, well, they're definitely targeting the rank up, so there's no option other than to activate.
What do we want to banish? The VAs?
We can banish the useless Graph. He's served this purpose.
Fogblade him?
We can Fogblade. That's our normal summon. Yep. they've used their normal summon, so we definitely know that there's no more monsters we have to worry about.
Requiem?
And now we make Dark Requiem. And just ward each time.
If we pop this, we could just kill ourselves. We could just pop him.
Yeah, popping him is much more useful. It's another Fogblade in our graveyard. That's the downside of Dracos. The worry of popping their own spells and traps is to their advantage.
We can negate that.
Oh, and negate it, just let them know. So detach the boots. You want to keep Rebellion underneath you as long as possible.
Because we can revive a Dark Ixie, we can do that anyway, I guess. Should we bring back the Breaksword?
Yep. Definitely. It's worth it. Just more advantage for the next turn swinging in. So yeah, this definitely... He's going for Heritage.
I mean, he'll draw one card. That's fine.
I suppose, yeah, this does display the downside of the deck. If you do brick and you don't get out all the negations, Rebellion by itself is pretty much a threat. Because simply negating things not once per turn, not once per chain is just so powerful. I think we've all learned that from Zeus.
Yep. Well, that's gonna resolve.
Unfortunate. But what can Unchained really do that Requiem cannot answer?
Well, it has to answer the same card twice is the only real issue. So we're not gonna let that go off.
No, we just
Actually, it would
get rid of that.
He already used this card, didn't he? Oh, he popped it. So if he sets it, I guess we should stop it.
He'll set that and he'll probably pop himself and then float.
Yeah. So we'll just negate him again.
Mm-hmm.
Because otherwise he'll just summon something that can get over us anyway.
Yep.
Since we didn't destroy it, I guess we don't summon.
The summon I require the summon is once per turn.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
Oh no, it's not. It's the you have to have the Dark Rebellion Xyz underneath you at the same as the effect. Yeah, if you detach Dark Rebellion, you can't bring it back because you no longer have a Dark Rebellion.
Well, can't stop that. Well, that is what it is. So
he'll make off the rank 3.
And then he'll link off of another one of our monsters into the 4 or a 2, depending on what he wants to do. And this True King's not once per turn, so we'll give him a spell if we use the Fog Blade. Maybe we will, but just not now.
We can always activate it on end phase.
Yeah, well...
Since the Fog Blade Grave effect is a once per turn.
This is going to be damage step if we want to bring this out. So he won't be able to do it here, but then he'll be able to pop one of our guys. Oh, does it not activate? Well, if we bring it out now, he'll activate and destroy it, so we should just wait, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Or we can activate it, bring out the Torn Scale, he'll have 2 choices, and then we'll just start our turn with Red Eyes Fusion.
If we bring out the Torn Scale will get banished.
Alright, so I guess we'll just pass. Or let him pass.
Yeah, I say we just pass. Red Eyes Fusion will maybe just end his turn.
Alright. Red Eyes Fusion?
Yep, Red Eyes Fusion.
Kill those guys, and neither of them float, so...
This is why we have the backup plan of Red Eyes. So 3K, 5K, this is just game. And this is why I run the red eyes. I have had several instances in tournaments where I've sided out to the red eyes engine for more hand traps, and I've always come to regret it because then we come into situations where I know if I just make Anaconda, we win the game.
Alright. What should we put in for this? Droll could be useful in this just because of the way he's playing the deck.
I've never come up against Unchained True Draco.
Oh, this has to be.
Hit it evenly is definitely. We can't destroy their back row because that's just their benefit. They don't add multiple cards a turn, do they?
No.
And then they're not VW and they're not Drytron. Yes, and that's why we're playing it.
Okay, we gotta cut 3 things for these.
So we should maybe cut... Let's see... We can't cut the droplets. Rank up's good.
Cut the droplets?
Maybe one of the... We could cut a droplet, yeah. And we could also maybe cut Shade Brigadine.
Alright, one more.
Are either of the hand traps a hindrance to him?
This,
he summons from deck, so Ash Blossom
this will
yes.
add back sometimes, but it's not super live.
Yeah, let's get rid of one of the ghost spells.
Alright, let's fire it off.
We got Ash Blossom, we got... Evenly.
We can just let him do everything. Well... Although, ashing that could be good.
Yeah, that will stop him from further extending into Unchained plays, which pretty much turns off the blue dog.
Well, if he just
we don't have to worry about our stuff.
Oh, well.
Yep.
This guy has big talk, but he can't handle an Ash. Alright. Let's get into another match.
And they didn't know our hand was also terrible again.
Yeah, he gave up too fast.
I mean, you can't always assume that your opponent is playing with a perfect hand that can go through everything. Sometimes they do open the double seer.
Big Unga Bunga. I think I know what that
Or...
means. They're playing a control deck.
Oh. I assumed it was dinosaurs.
Oh, I know, just kidding.
Oh, sorry.
What is the playline here? I would imagine normal tour guide.
Yeah, so the playline here is either tour guide gets us to our full combo. Shade Brigadine is not great. Shade Brigadine is just Verte Pass. So yeah, that's tour guide.
Oh, it worked. Graph?
Yep, Graph.
There are builds that only play tour guide just to go into tour guide, right?
There are. Because the Burning Abyss is sometimes not as useful, and they don't want to go Cherubini extension into other things. So yeah, let's make Cherubini. Like sometimes, you know, you play Cherubini in 3-axis Dragon Link, where we were just sending it off for Carbonetin.
Got it. Alright.
Same reason as some people playing Diva just to make Diva Hulk.
Rusty?
Let's use Cherubini effect first.
Preferable
we can send off a... let's see. We should send off Gloves, I'd say. And we'll send off Torn Scale with the... with Bardiche. So yeah, now we can make a Bardiche. And we summon Cherubini. I like to summon him into the middle zone where Bardiche is just pointed to anyway. Because if we're going to use him for link material.
Okay.
And now we can activate Bardiche.
Send
Send Torn Scale.
Fog?
Yep, set Fog.
Can Appaloosa use the Shade Brigadine?
She can. She just requires monsters with different names.
Okay, so should we summon it while we can, just in case? Or should we wait a little just in case of...
Let's think. So we'll banish the gloves, he'll send a Fog Blade. Yeah, we should activate it now. If we want to go into Appaloosa. Yeah, let's go into Appaloosa this game, we could show that off.
So, gloves to send...
Fog Blade. Because we'll be sending wings with Torn Scale.
Oh, okay. Torn Scale.
Yes. Go spell your own Torn Scale. Assert dominance. Torn Scale, send off the cloak. That sends the wings to the grave.
Okay.
And then we can activate the cloak to add the boots to our hand.
Alright. Should we make the Appaloosa
And then
now?
we will.
Or should we summon things?
We summon boots first. We want to go off into Levair before we make Appaloosa.
Okay.
By the end of this, you will be a master PK player. You will know how to Levair and bring back Cloak. We want to send Torn Scale. Oh.
Oh, whoops. Does that matter?
No problem. It doesn't matter in this situation because we're making Appaloosa.
Okay. Link away.
Use Cloak first.
Ah, good thing I put it in attack mode.
You're learning. Yep, and now we just link away Appaloosa.
Should we do all
So
four?
that's Levair, the Cherubini. So yeah, we can use the Cloak if we want to make a really big Appaloosa. Since we have Wings and Fogblade in the grave, we can just bring it back. So yeah, it's probably for the benefit since we won't have a use for it anyway on field. So we just use everything for one big Appaloosa.
Okay. Then bring back 2 dudes.
Bring back 2 dudes. We can bring back the Torn Scale and the Cloak, and we'll banish the boots to add the rank up magic.
Torn Scale. Cloak. Break Sword.
Yep. Do the Breaksword dance.
Break Sword pops
So
himself.
at the end of this board, our opponent will have to break through 1 pop, 4 monster negates from Appaloosa, 3 monster negate and destruction with Rebellion. Bring back the Torn Scale, yeah. Sorry, I looked away for a second to just
I mean,
read
we
off.
can do Verte Anaconda also.
We can,
And, get
and then we would use our boots to set another Fogblade.
Okay,
So yeah, the main board is versatile.
which one's better? Sorry.
Well, the problem is we don't know what he's playing. So we have 4 Appaloosa negates that could basically stand up to anything.
So Dragoon might cover the 5th card.
Yeah, Dragoon could cover the 5th card. Yeah, let's go for Dragoon. Oh wait, no, don't. Oh, back out, back out, back out. So the problem here is... oh wait, no, yeah, the Dragoon is fine, sorry. I made a mistake, I was thinking about the Fog Blades again. Yeah, Dragoon is fine. So yeah, that's another advantage of the Breaksword is whenever Breaksword brings back monsters, they don't get banished like Torn Scale and Wings do.
Okay. Doesn't really
So that's
matter.
what... just in, yeah, any so.
Those Mech Knights are going to have a problem playing through all these Appaloosas anyway.
So yeah, that's the that's one of the great benefits of Breaksword in the deck, and why we run 2 is if we bring monsters back with Fog Blades or Wings, they'll get banished if we try to link them away. So Breaksword will just float them back anyway, and more links shenanigans.
But then you're locked into Darks.
We are locked in the darks, but that's why Verte Anaconda and Dragoon are the optimal package here. So Crusadia.
I mean...
Oh no. That's not going to do anything, honey.
I mean, if he had the Kaiju or had... I mean, he can do the big Unga Bunga play.
Yeah, if he had Kaiju, that would have been quite nasty to Dragoon, but we have Dragoon and Apollo.
Well...
Okay, so he's trying to pop. So we have Fog Blades.
So we're going to
So
Fog
we
Blade
can-
this one and then Appaloosa this one?
Appaloosa first. Remember Chainlinks.
Yeah.
And then Fogblade the Reclusia, so he can't do anything about it. We quite like having Appaloosa on field.
I mean, then he's going to activate Crusadia Power, and then we'll have to negate that with Dragoon, and then we'll just die to something stupid. But, you know, unavoidable.
Well, he hasn't added. He can't add it to hand, and he doesn't have it, so it's looking good. You can go off into Spatha and more stuff. Even if he tries to attack, we'll have the Fogblade in hand for emergency. Attack with big guy does nothing.
I assume that's once per turn. Should we make use of this card we have no other use for?
Yeah, I doubt the Crusadia is ever going to resurrect from grave any other time. So yeah, let's ghost that. We don't want them to have more extenders. And they're definitely trying to fiend out on... Oh!
Huh.
Interesting. It's a Mech Knight.
Do we just let the Mech Knight go through? He's locked if he does that. He might make it to Avermax, but I feel like we can beat an Avermax.
Avermax. We can't target it with Fogblade, but if he tries to beat over us, he'll...
Well, he'd still need to summon 2 monsters to do that. We could potentially negate one. Like, he might go purple, and then we just negate purple.
Yeah, let's go. Let it go for, yeah.
Because we negate purple, he's not going anywhere.
Yeah, and it's hard to know what's really in his hand. You think a Crusadia player would just have a lot of monsters in there, but he has Mech Knights as well.
I've played versions like that before. They're pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, Mech Knight Orchest is definitely a great card nowadays.
Okay, battle phase, trying to run over Appaloosa, I guess. I guess we Fogblade it.
It's a possibility. This monster cannot attack. Yeah, if we want to save our Appaloosa, it's probably worth doing it now. As he enters battle phase.
Do we...
yeah, no, Appaloosa can just stop that.
So he'll get his purple Nightfall back to his hand at the end of the turn when this thing resolves. We still have to out
which means
our own Fogblade, which
a
should be
single
easy.
stop. Thanks to Dragoon, anything is possible. And we can activate a Fogblade on the end of our turn and just bring back a Breaksword if we felt like it. It's free 2k damage.
Or we can bring back Tornscale. No, or
Tornscale
something
will
else.
come back itself with Fogblade.
Okay, so bring back Breaksword.
Tornscale triggers off Fogblade, which is fantastic.
Cool, let's do that. 2,000 more damage. Tornscale for no reason.
Hey, 600 damage is pretty good.
Well, it's the send is the more important part. Okay, so I guess we pop him now.
Yeah, we just Dragoon pop. Oh, the Crawler. That just summons a body, right?
It summons
and add
itself.
a World Legacy card.
I guess we would just pop it
Yep,
too and not care about the World Legacy card.
Yeah, no.
Okay.
Nothing to worry about from World
Side
Legacy cards.
decking. Well, it's going second deck, so he'll make us go first again.
More than likely. Or he, even if he doesn't, he ends on what? An Avermax? It's not exactly a big threat.
Droll might stop him with all the Mech Knights and stuff.
Yeah, he'll definitely be adding. Ghost Spell came in handy once, but I doubt it would come in handy again.
So you think this is good?
I think this is good, yeah. It seems solid.
Alright, I can get on board with that.
I mean, big Unga Bunga. You think it's dinosaurs, but no, it is the truest of Crusade.
The Unga-ist of Bunga-ists.
Yep, he is definitely a Ghost second build. And we know he's on Kaiju, so that makes... It makes our end board have to consider that in the possibilities. So
we have the option of passing. Our hand's not amazing.
We do. It is an option. So if we were to go off this hand, we could use Boots and Kagemusha. We would end on either some combination of either Requiem and or Appaloosa and or Dragoon. 2 of those 3.
Well, we drew the
We'd have to worry yeah, drawing the graph is not the best. We would basically be able to graph would... So just theoretically, I can talk about the play. Cherubini would set Tornscale. We would banish Boots to add something. Tornscale would bring itself back. Tornscale would dump off the graph at some point. No, that wouldn't work. Definitely a lock. Yeah, I think passing and just seeing if he can do the job, like he might do.
He has a chance he can't do anything, or he'll make a mediocre board.
Yeah. Chance we might just OTK him back if he can't OTK us.
Well, it could
With
be
the
in our
Mech
best
Knights,
interest to
that's
let him
definitely-
make a board, right? Because that big Arc Rebellion thing takes advantage of a big board.
It does. It takes advantage of attack position stuff and link monsters. Okay, so we set 1. So yeah, that's pretty much...
I mean, that could just
Okay,
be
I
the
think we
Mech
can-
Knight spell.
Yeah, I think we can pop off from here. So I think normal summoning gloves is our option. Then we can use Kagemusha Knight.
I love Kagemusha Knight.
Yeah, YGOPRO's added in TCG rulings now, so you can actually use Kagemusha Knight to chain block tour guide as intended.
I did not know that. That is the most important thing I've ever heard.
But
Alright.
yeah, it's in the settings.
Now what?
Yeah, let's summon out the boots as well.
Now I'm just totally distracted. You're gonna have to really talk through these plays settings.
Yep, okay, so we have both boys. So we can just make Cherubini here with the 2 Phantom Knights. And Cherubini activate effect, and we will send off a card.
You said
So
Torn
let's
Scale?
see here. Yeah, we'll send off Torn Scale. It's the most useful one right now. Send off the Torn Scale. Set us up.
Because we can make a break sword with
That's
this
a really
thing, or we could just summon this to make the Appaloosa. I'm sorry, not the Appaloosa. Well, we could make Appaloosa first.
Or it'll be a good card for discarding eventually, when we can get a card out to discard. We can't
Okay.
get them out of our hand currently.
So what's the
We
plan?
can just go off into... we can make Rusty Bardish from here.
Oh, okay.
Set up the graveyard even further. See if he has any negates he wants to fiend out. Bardish, we can send off.
Ah,
There's the Ash Blossom. That's perfect.
okay.
We've
Now
already sent the Torn Scale. So now we activate Gloves and we'll send off a... We'll send off Wings? Yeah, Wings sounds good. This will activate our Torn Scale. We can bring him back, and this is how we get This is how we get Graph out of our hand.
So pitch Graph to send...
We'll send Cloak.
And then Graph can summon Seer. And Seer will bring back Cherubini. Just for clarification on what's in the graveyard, we have Cloak, which hasn't been used yet, Wings, and Boots.
Wings and Boots. Yep. So, Cloak can add any card. He can add Phantom Knights of Stained Graves. Yeah, I think that's the option. Let's use Cloak to bring back to add a Stained Greaves to our hand. So we get to show off the boy.
Alright.
And then we'll use Wings in the graveyard to special summon out a Boots. And that activates Greaves in hand to special summon. And he's optional whether we want to turn him into a level 4 or not.
Should we?
I think for the purposes of here, no, we don't want to.
Okay.
It doesn't provide us any advantage currently.
Alright.
Next up, we can overlay the Boots and the Scale into either Levair or Phantom Knights of Breaksword. We currently have a Cloak in the Banish Zone, but doing that would provide... Yeah, let's go into Levair.
So this is just to avoid these guys getting banished.
Yep, just for advantage. So we'll detach the Boots this time. And we'll bring back the Cloak. And we'll give our Bardish a nice little boost.
Alright.
So let's see. We have a we have Boots in the graveyard. We can banish the Boots, and that would get us a...
We can get Shade Brigandine. Make
and
a
then we
Link
could make
Spider.
an Appaloosa.
We can make a Link Spider, go into Verte, then make an Appaloosa. Then make Dragoon.
Well, we're kind of on the situation that we just want to kill him right now.
That's true.
Appaloosa is basically just insurance for that.
Well, we can do that first. I'm just saying that the Dragoon could just be the extra damage, so like 32, 29, 3000.
Let's see. Appaloosa is 3200 plus Bardish right now is 2900, so that would be 6k. And then we just need to make a Break Sword, which is another 2k. That's lethal.
So Breaksword now? Or Appaloosa?
I think we should banish the boots to add shade to make Appaloosa.
And we're going to make that with Levier,
Well,
Cherubini, and...
Levier, Cherubini, and the Shade Brigadine, yeah. That's good.
Breaksword.
That's just insurance at this late stage of whatever. We'll make Breaksword. The Breaksword. So we can either activate Bardish to pop the back row, or we can use Breaksword's own effect to pop the back row. So I don't think we activate Shade Brigadine here. I mean, Rusty Bardish.
Well,
I think
was
we
thinking if we do use Rusty and he summons like the Mech Knight, we can try to pop that with Breaksword, which then will bring Breaksword back and make Verte, and then we can just use Dragoon.
So no, because we have Breaksword on field. If we use Breaksword now to pop Breaksword and pop the back row, Breaksword will send himself to the graveyard and bring back the 2, which we can then rank up into the Xyz Dragon, and then use Bardish's effect to pop any...
Either way does the same thing.
Either way it does the same thing, but this is just more advantageous to get more damage on field. Yep. Okay, so it was just a false flag. Yep. And Tornscale, yeah. The brothers, the new ones.
Big guy?
Yep, now we can... Yeah, we can just make Rebellion. No need to pop now. So that's 25, 29, 24. So yeah, just rank up and we should kill him. So we can just banish Kagemusha and yeah. Yeah, Requiem. No monsters on board, no need for Rebellion unless you want to be flashy.
Well, I mean, I'm all about Flash. He's the fastest man alive.
Flashy play. Get up the attack. Make Appaloosa no longer able to negate.
I don't know.
Turn 1, empty board broken.
Yeah, so is his. Sounds...
I mean, we truly respected that World Legacy Guard Dragon.
Alright, he probably left already. Alright, so let's just go back to the deck list and see if there's anything worth mentioning that hasn't come up. Alright, Sunindo, is there anything that didn't come up that's worth mentioning, that you may have been reminded about throughout the few games we played?
Yeah, well, our hands have been quite, not exactly standard, to be fair. We've had a lot of games where we've seemingly bricked on a couple of cards that normally aren't found together. We haven't come into a situation where we've been in a mostly Phantom Knights hand where Stain Greaves really shows off his Banish extra normal summon ability. And we haven't really seen much of our extenders in Wheel Leader or the Dangers. We've been in a tight spot where we've gone Desperation and normal summoned one of the Ghost Girls and used an extender to make level 3 Cherubini.
Okay.
But
although bricking the graph did bug me a little bit. I kind of do wish we were playing, like, what's his name? Edgem Sabers to maybe put back the Red Eyes Fusion the time we bricked it. Also, if you brick the graph, you can put the graph back. I'm not sure how much that would matter, but it would at least be a more live card later, maybe? Well, we did discard it for use, so I guess it wasn't that bad.
The deck discards for use as long as you get Cherubini in the grave, he has value. The only reason we're running one graph is because Tour Guide to special summons from the hand or the deck, and discarding graph is also an option, so it comes up very rarely where, ooh, I really wish this was in the deck, or I could put this back. Edgem Sabers are definitely for the Red Ice Fusion. You've seen how this really does hinder the options of, we could have had Dragoon here, but maybe we can just put Appaloosa and Requiem on field instead. But that definitely opens up to spells and traps, which
there's a chance we might have lost that game if we actually could have made Verte. The fact that we had it as the follow-up might have actually won the game. So
definitely.
So purposely putting it back could have been a bad thing.
Definitely, yeah. Sometimes drawing it is the correct decision. Basically, just this is why I wouldn't cut the Dragoon option, because it just wins games. Yeah. It just does it on its own. Only thing we haven't seen is there's a couple of cool plays that this deck is able to do that We never came into a situation where this is the line that wins the game. Most of our situations have been plain simple. We can get as much damage with this basic play, but there's a couple of cool options. Obviously, we never got to see Arc Rebellion do its thing, which a little sad, but big card, go smack.
What exactly is he
Even
do?
if he's left on the
negates
field,
everything,
he's pretty good.
He negates everything and then steals all their attack and then attacks per game?
He negates everything on the board permanently, steals their attack permanently. Oh, I mean, boosts himself permanently, and swings for game. And if he doesn't swing for game, you have a card that can't be destroyed by card effect that has likely 8k to 10k attack damage.
Okay. So it's normally played against like what, big full like combo boards, and then it just lets you bait everything out and then you get into him?
Yeah, if the opponent has a big board, like even big board is relative, something like Eldritch. If they have a Link monster on board in Eldritch, Arc Rebellion just says hello.
Okay.
Another thing I love about this deck is the 2 Breaksword and the 1 Raider's Knight. This comes in handy a lot where you have these really cool interactions where make Breaksword, pop Breaksword on an opponent's card, bring back 2 as level 4s, make Raider's Knight into a Breaksword, Breaksword again because it's not once per turn either of the effects, bring them back again, make a Rebellion Dragon, and go off from there.
Alright, I haven't really seen Raider's Knight used at all, so I forget you can actually rank down. So ranking down into another Breaksword sounds pretty cool.
It's something that Phantom Knights have kind of always wanted but never had. Just making Breaksword off of Breaksword's own pop effect is kind of ridiculous.
Yeah, just the options. Like, the only option ever was, what? Evil Swarm Nightmare, which we decided didn't make the cut, and Rebellion. And Rebellion's only a going second option, so I guess that's a pretty solid option also for going second, especially if you don't want to put in Rebellion and Requiem for space. You don't have to play the rank up spell for that. Technically,
we don't need
you
2
only
rank
need
up
the rank up
spells.
spell for this guy, right?
Yeah, we only need the rank up spell technically for Arc Requiem. There have been situations where I've used it for Arc Rebellion, but those are very few and far between. It's a very specific line where you make Xyz's Dark Rebellion, use its effect to detach 2 to lower something, then you use the rank up magic to go into Arc Rebellion. And since Arc Rebellion gains attack based on original attack, you gain the bonus and your opponent's lost half, so it makes OTK much simpler. But usually, yeah, if you're going second, you do that. If you're going first, you make Dark Requiem. Very few times have I ever thought I needed a second rank up magic.
Okay. I do miss the other rank up magic. I really like the idea of going into, like, Dingirsu with Dingirsu into
material card.
Calamities.
Yeah.
Big Eye into Kali Yuga. Those were fun days, but they're not practical to do anymore, I feel like.
We've just got a lot of answers nowadays to that kind of stuff. And trap cards becoming more popular and things. They're changing metagame.
I do feel like the trap cards in this
pride.
deck are worse than the trap cards in other decks, though, just because Fogblade is such a limited trap versus what's being made right now. I feel like Fogblade's not good enough.
Yeah, comparing Fogblade to something like IDP is a hard call, but sometimes I believe in one of the Emanon tournaments, I just have an end board of 3 Fogblades, and that can really hinder opponents.
Oh yeah, it's super
Monster
annoying.
effects are still something in most decks. That's the best thing. Downside is currently in this format, VW and Drytron, Fogblade really can't hit them. That's why the side deck is entirely focused on that matchup alone.
This is for Virtual World. I guess this also is the new Bird deck people keep playing.
It also hits stuff like Orchist and Dinosaur.
Yeah.
Those are still around.
This is for Drytron. This is for Drytron also.
Yep. Just unfortunately we didn't see any today, but that's the YGOPRO meta for you.
It is what it is. We can't choose our opponents unless we ask people in advance to play us. Maybe it's something I'll do in the future. If anyone wants to volunteer to be an opponent for an episode of How to Play, you can join the Legacy Crusaders Discord. You can find a link in the description. Maybe that'll be something good we can do. You can play one of the random meta decks available to you, and we can see if we can beat you. Unfortunately, that also leads to people knowing what deck's being played for the episode, which could be a problem, I guess. Yeah, I think that's it. Thanks, Sunindo.
Happy to be here.
Pleasure to have you. Alright, so thanks for coming in, guys. Subscribe, hit the like button if you want to see more videos like these, share them with friends if they're interested in getting into Phantom Knights, and we'll see you next time.